Who were the last Celts in England? The question seems almost like a mistake. When we think of Celts, we think of Ireland, Scotland, or Wales, places where Celtic languages and traditions are still vibrant. But England, the land of the Anglo-Saxons, well, the truth is far more complex, subtle, and fascinating. Long before England existed, before the Romans, Anglo-Saxons, or Vikings arrived, Britain was overwhelmingly Celtic. From the Iron Age onward, Celtic-speaking tribes like the Iceni and the Brigantes dominated the land. They farmed, worshipped nature gods, and created incredible art. Archaeological finds, from hill forts to intricate metalwork, paint a picture of a rich Celtic world stretching from Cornwall to the Scottish border. They weren't a single nation, but they shared languages, beliefs, and an artistic flair that connected them to a wider Celtic Europe. The first great change came with the Roman invasion in 43 AD. Rome didn't erase Celtic Britain, it transformed it. New roads, towns, and laws were built on top of the old world. But beneath the surface, Celtic culture endured. People continued to speak Brittonic languages and worshipped Romano-Celtic gods, blending old traditions with new ones. When the Roman legions withdrew in the 5th century, a power vacuum opened the door for new arrivals, the Anglo-Saxons. Migrating from what is now Germany and Denmark, they established kingdoms like Wessex and Mercia. For a long time, the story was simple. The Anglo-Saxons pushed the Celtic Britons west into Wales and Cornwall. But modern science tells a different story. Genetics and archaeology revealed that it wasn't a total replacement. There was significant mixing. Many Celtic people were absorbed into the new Anglo-Saxon society. Their language faded, but their genes, their knowledge of the land, and traces of their culture survived. They didn't just disappear, they became part of the fabric of what would become England. By the early Middle Ages, Old English had replaced the Celtic languages across most of the country, but not everywhere. In the far southwest, Cornwall became the last stronghold of a living Celtic language on English soil. Cornish, a language closely related to Welsh, was spoken by fishermen, farmers, and miners for centuries. Medieval religious plays and poetry were written in it, but the pressure from the growing English state was immense. By the 18th century, Cornish was no longer a community's first language. Dolly Pentreath, who died in 1777, is often called the last native speaker, a romantic but probably simplified end to a long history. Still, Cornwall gives us one clear answer. Its people held on to a distinct Celtic identity long after the rest of England had changed. But the story doesn't end in Cornwall. Up in the north of England, in places like Cumbria, whispers of a lost Brittonic Celtic kingdom called Reached persist. We see it in place names. A town name ending in pen for hill or Cair for fort is like a linguistic fossil, a clue to a Celtic-speaking past buried beneath centuries of English. Even the name of the River Thames is Celtic, a quiet reminder that modern England flows over a much older map. And then there's our DNA. Studies show that many people in England, especially in the west and north, carry significant ancestry from those ancient Britons. While your genes don't define your culture, they confirm that Celtic people weren't wiped out. They were absorbed, and their descendants are still here, walking the same land. Echoes of this past also linger in folklore and local customs. Some rural festivals, beliefs about sacred springs, or the reverence for ancient hills might just trace their origins back to pre-Christian Celtic practices, wrapped in newer traditions. That romantic image of the English countryside, dotted with ancient stone circles and earthworks, constantly pulls our imagination back to a time before England was England. In recent decades, This hidden history is being rediscovered. In Cornwall, the Cornish language has been revived. It's now officially recognized, and the new generation is learning to speak it. It shows that culture can be rekindled through memory, community, and a shared desire to connect with the past. So, who were the last Celts in England? The answer is layered. They were the Cornish people, who kept their language alive for 1,000 years against the odds. They were the Northern Britons, whose kingdoms live on in legends and place names. But in another sense, they never left. They were transformed, blending their blood, their stories, and their spirit into the very soul of England. Their legacy is written into the land, into our genes, and into the names we use every day. It's a powerful reminder that national identities are never simple. They are complex, layered, and built on foundations far older than we often realize. The story of the last Celts in England isn't just about a vanished people. It's an ongoing story about memory, identity, and how the deepest roots of history continue to shape who we are today.